You can feel her punches.
It was actually funny how badly she whooped these guys. Hello, we're back, and we're about to see the movie Dungeons and Dragons. We actually tried to see it last night, but
check this out.
This happened in one night. Look at that shit.
At least 8 inches.
That's insane. Yeah, the roads were so crappy on the way here. We actually had to cancel the whole thing.
We did. We pushed it back to today. So then we were gonna do a bunch of other things today, and then we realized the roads were still so bad that
all the snow was melted before this. That's how much snow we got. And it was like 8. It probably was a lot more because of precipitation.
Yeah.
But we're about to see, because it rained for like 4 hours before that.
Yeah, it did.
But we're about to see Dungeons and Dragons, and so we're just gonna tell you what we expect.
So
his background is deep.
Yeah,
in
I've
D&D.
been playing D&D since I was 11 years old, which is 31 years. Pretty faithfully. I played a lot of other games too, but like definitely D&D is the one that got me into role-playing games and tabletop and dice and stuff. So I have a really intimate relationship with the franchise, or whatever you want to call it, the product.
The rule set.
All of that stuff.
Yeah,
for sure. So I definitely
Let me tell you about mine real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't like Dungeons and Dragons. Never did. Didn't play it. We played it a couple times as kids. It was boring.
But I didn't know what I was doing back then.
That's true, but I played it once as an adult, and I was like, not for me. And I consider myself to have an imagination.
Oh yeah, you do.
So
for sure.
It's just weird. It seems like a right fit for me for something to do, but I'd never liked it, and there you have it. Anyway.
Yeah. So back in 2000, they tried to make a movie called Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh my God, that movie!
That movie was a travesty. I think it made
Jeremy Irons.
It
awesome,
set the all of that, everything, the development of any sort of future for the product and whatever. It flushed it all down the toilet. It was so bad. I think it was 3.7 on IMDb.
That sounds about right.
It was 10 on Rotten Tomatoes, 10% only, and 14%.
It had a Wayne's brother.
On
well, who cares about all that?
But yeah, it did.
It was awful.
It was the only movie of Jeremy Irons that I don't like.
Yeah,
and he's awesome in it. He plays the villain. But anyway, so that like ruined it for how many? 23 years. Think about that. Finally, they're coming out with something. And my suspicion is that I think Marvel's drying up. This could be one of those new series.
Roll out the window. It's gonna be loud.
Yeah, there's plows out in front of us. A new series that, if it does well, they could just keep having spin-offs and more movies and more movies, perpetuate it for forever, which I think is not.
When we watched
terrible.
the trailer, I said, basically, I figured it's gonna be boring, is what I figured.
It could be, yeah.
And then it's gonna be a bunch of one-liners and quippy, and they're gonna try to be like the Avengers, is what I said. Like
mile-a-minute jokes.
Yeah, mile-a-minute jokes, Joss Whedon crap. I feel like the special effects are gonna be okay.
They look alright.
Not great.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
So,
I think it's going to be boring, middle of the road, average.
If it
kind
fails, I think it's just going to be another one and done and forgotten. I don't think they're going to have. But I don't know. It might do really well, and I hope it does, because I really want them. Yeah, I do, and I want them to succeed, and I want there to be more material out there and stuff. And I mean, gaming and tabletop in general has exploded in the last maybe 10 years. It's insane.
I personally like
more mainstream than ever. You've got all the Critical Role. If you guys know what I'm talking about, anyone who's tuning into this,
Chris Pine is in it.
Yeah,
he's always good.
He's great. He's great. So maybe he can keep it together.
I hope so. I'm not a huge fan of Michelle Rodriguez, but she's okay.
I like her.
Her as the warrior just seems silly.
I don't know.
She's always the badass.
What would she be? She can't not be a warrior.
I don't know.
She's kind of a warrior. So
I'm so sick of like Fast and Furious movies.
Oh yeah, we'll get back to that later. But anyway, so my prediction is I think I'm going to be disappointed. That's my prediction. What's yours?
I won't be disappointed because I don't really care, and
That's fair.
Don't care. I don't know. I'm just seeing this for something to do today since I'm visiting my brother.
Yeah.
So.
And it was a struggle to get here.
It was.
Holy
we had to
shit.
get pushed out twice, and we almost got in a couple
shoveled
accidents.
for like 45 minutes.
Yep.
Just to
That
get them
was
up.
awesome.
So anyway, yeah, that's our 2 cents worth before the movie. We'll
We're
let
gonna
you know
try
what
that,
happens
and,
right after this.
Yeah, like I said, I don't really care. I think it's going to be super average.
Yeah, it is opening weekend too, so we normally don't see movies on
Yeah, it
opening,
came out last night,
but
so.
since it's relevant,
But
that's what we're doing. So,
all right, see you
we'll
after.
See you in a minute. Hi.
All right, hi. We just got back from Dungeons and Dragons.
You did. All right, so we've been quiet the whole time. We walked over to the car. We're not
haven't
even going
mentioned
to
to each other if
what
we liked it.
thought, whatever.
I'll just start out. I liked it. It was a considerably better than I thought it'd be. So, I'm pleasantly surprised. There was even some heartstring tugging and all that kind of
there
stuff.
was a lot going on. It was a balanced movie, I would say.
Very balanced. That was great.
So I liked it too. I really liked it. It's not a stellar movie off like, oh my god, it blew my mind or anything like that. But like ultimately, it was okay. So maybe I did set the bar a little low, but it definitely was way past that.
I set the bar very low, and then when I went into it, it was pretty easy to surpass it.
Yeah,
by a long shot.
exactly. So this movie is, if you're familiar with any of the D&D lore, it's one of the game worlds that you can play in, and it's Faerun, which is Forgotten Realms. And so for me, as somebody who really liked that, we'll call it a universe for lack of a better term, they pulled out a lot of names dropping and like little things like that are unique to the world. He has no idea. Like, I know all about Fae, the wizards.
I didn't like that,
Saz,
to be honest,
and
because they were saying all that shit. I'm not a fan of D&D.
Yeah,
it was all just like a bunch of noise. Just
but like any normal movie would probably
name drop.
But like what they're doing is they're actually setting up for sure. This is not going to end here. There's going to be tons of movies I guarantee. I guarantee you. There's so much to explore in that world. The way like they were doing that, and it was just ridiculous. They're setting up a huge franchise.
I'll tell you,
almost certain of it.
Before spoilers and stuff, I think the villains were awesome.
Yeah, they were.
Well, the villain, basically.
Yeah, she was a badass and very interesting.
I was like, holy crap,
and terrifying.
Yeah, there's a few. I was like,
absolutely
wow,
terrifying.
That's another thing. I would not bring kids under the age of like 12 to this. It's graphic.
It's kind of graphic.
There's a bunch of shit that happens. And I was like, what, really?
Shit, yeah.
People puking because they're all dying and shit.
Yeah, it's not like light vanilla.
It wasn't a popcorn movie. This was I don't know. It was a pretty good action movie.
It was.
Really?
All the choreography was kept me wow.
I don't like Michelle Rodriguez, and she nailed it. I was like, wow, I really like her character now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes me not want to watch the Fast and Furious though.
Not into those.
I was kidding.
But anyway. So that was cool. The pacing was really good. And we were concerned that it was going to be just one liner after one liner, and it kind
of was.
But
they were all good. It was actually really funny. It was
Chris Pine.
Oh, he nailed it. Yeah,
he was so funny.
Fantastic.
I can't even believe the lines they gave him, and he really made
his delivery is great.
Yes, and his character was just just believable, and he was super fucking charming.
Yeah, he was.
His usual charming,
beautiful
self.
Blue eyes, man.
Ridiculous.
I was like, what? His eyes can't
they got
possibly
some shots where they're right
blue.
there, and you're like, is that a contact?
Almost looks like it.
What the hell? But yeah,
I'm gonna preface this with just saying we're probably gonna get into spoilers too.
Yeah,
so
pretty quick here.
No holds barred.
But before we do that, let's rate it.
I think I want to talk about it more.
Okay, go for it.
And the spoilers before I rate it.
Okay.
Because I feel like I need to hash some things out. So spoilers. I think the whole movie was fantastic, except there's a middle about 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Where
there's
a bunch of fantastical stuff happens that you're like, oh.
It's one of those moments where they're pushing the envelope with the over the top.
It's like Star Wars, how Jar Jar defeats an army because he's clumsy.
Because he's an idiot. Yeah, that level.
It's like that kind of level of luck happening.
Hand waving things away that
so
were with
dumb.
just
I was just thinking, oh my god, I just lost a bunch of respect for the movie.
If it did not
But it
have
rebounded.
that section, I would have rated this as a really, really high movie, like
9.
Yeah,
It has it all.
It has all of the elements.
Action.
It does.
Humor, spectacle, gorgeous scenery.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my god.
CGI was
really clever.
Yeah.
Like all these things that happen are super clever.
Yeah. The story is really well written.
And you're like, wow, yeah, that makes sense.
for sure.
It's a great, yeah.
As a D&D aficionado, I guess I'll just say to myself, there was a lot of spells that are used by the mages that are like classic, and you're like, oh, I know what that is. And the nice thing is they don't like spell it out for you like
I felt
what it
like
is.
they kind of did.
They had Big B's grasping hand was in there. They had Evard's black tentacles. They had they kept going with. I was like, wow, are they? And they didn't stop to be like, oh, you know,
use Big B's.
Yeah,
I feel like they did that a couple times though.
There was but they were light on it, and it was kind of to fill some stuff in. I think that needed to be said. So
man, remember when Bitchface was the daughter, and suddenly she's like,
oh god, that's
I was like, oh,
shrieking,
like, oh my, like, ha 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 ha, and then she turned because she got this morbidly
like it got
black
loud
eyes.
in the theater.
Yeah,
so
that
we're
was
like,
pretty loud.
What the? Because you could some of the scenes I could like the theater was shaking. I was like,
especially
whoa.
when the tough
crazy.
chick Rodriguez's character just whoops dudes.
Yeah. You can feel her punching.
It was actually funny how badly she whooped these fucking guys.
Her character's awesome.
Oh my god.
She is great in that movie.
I thought, oh my god.
I have a lot of respect for her.
She was one of my favorite parts.
For sure.
Because she was so dry. And then she would just be like, just spell it out. She would just be spoiling shit like, oh, we're going to steal it. And like, I hope it's for an honorable cause. Yeah. That was fantastic. I had a great old time with that movie.
So I was noting like some of the costumes, and I'm really grateful that they didn't do that stupid shit that all fantasy movies seem to do.
Like wear modern clothes?
No, where they take the armor. That's a huge issue because I'm a historian a little bit. So like when they take armor and make it all like fancy looking because it's these guys and they wear this ornate, stupid, nonsensical armor. No, it was like actual armor that we've used in history. So I thought that was refreshing. They didn't embellish too much on the costumes. Yeah. And so that made it. I was still into it.
Reflect on this for a second. You know how many violent deaths happened in that movie?
There's a lot.
It was a very violent. There was just horrific. Like someone's got like some molten steel in a vat, and she just dunks his head in it. You're like, what? Just
slams him right into it, and he's man. Oh man, it was very action packed. You're not sitting for too long between those bouts, and when you are, it's actually valuable time you're spending with the characters, learning the story a little.
I like
bit more.
how.
Story is super clever. We said that earlier, but it's very tricky. They come up, so they're a group of thieves. They come up with all these tricks and to get to doing all this stuff, and it's just like well done, like absolutely.
I did have a couple of problems though with. I felt like they jammed too much Dungeons and Dragons-y stuff in there. It didn't feel super like a real world. It just felt like fantastical.
Yeah.
Too fantastic.
Well, see, that's the problem I have with that game world as a D&D product anyway. It's so it's bloated with magic. Everything is magical. To the point where you're like, fuck, man, is there anything normal? And how do these people like live normal lives?
That's how I was feeling about it. I was like,
peasants if there's that much magic.
I don't really like the world they're in. I just don't.
Yeah.
It's just too many I don't know, too many fantastical things.
It kind of felt a little bit not terribly, but like Harry Potter, you know how everything in Hogwarts is magical, every painting is watching and laughing at you and shit like that. It's like too much. But it wasn't though. They just happened to be in places where that stuff would be concentrated. I feel like. I guess. I mean, in the open world and whatever, there was none of that. So, but you know what though? Like the filming was fantastic. Like they travel a lot in that movie. There's a lot of beautiful scenes in that. That movie was gorgeous. It's a gorgeous movie. Yeah. There's one shitty bit of CGI where this druid chick. Is there a big plow coming around here or something?
I don't know. No, he's over there.
If you can hear him, sorry about that overall.
Yeah, where she changes into like 50 things. She changes from a fly to a mouse.
That was a super long sequence of her just,
and it was uninterrupted.
Which is what
it was
you would
one
expect.
camera shot that took like 5 minutes of them chasing her
through a whole
and she
castle,
ends up turning
and
into a
she's turning
gazelle
into
and
different creatures to get away.
That looked like shit.
It wasn't
like that
good.
whole scene looked like garbage.
Good.
Like it
wasn't
really
the
did.
worst CGI,
no.
but
RRR is better CGI than that.
Probably.
And I thought that was kind of like
only time
mid-lower tier CGI.
So let's go back to the part where they lost some points. So they end up needing to go. They find this
It's MacGuffin City.
A little bit.
They gotta find this thing, and to find this thing, they gotta go to this place to talk to these dead people.
To do that guy, they had to talk to this guy who can lead them to this other object.
It's a quest.
It is.
I understand it.
Typical
It was
storytelling.
expected, actually.
But
that's a huge chunk of the middle of the movie.
Super weird, because like they go. So you see the Underdark, for those of you who are familiar with that, and you're like, whoa, it's like the Drow down there, and you can see a huge city, one of their cities down there, but it's not, they go right around it, and there's a couple jokes on the way, and then they're somewhere completely different, and then they got to deal with
these brain things that live down here.
That was
like,
part of the
but they
joke.
kept doing that.
Yeah.
Like, there's this new creature thing, blah, 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 and it's like, I don't know. It's okay. They're trying to build a world. I get it.
Yeah, it works if you're not, if you're a D&D fan, it almost kind of hurts it.
But
because you're like, why would you choose that of all things, and why would you?
Where it fell apart
like
is,
that?
well, they're getting chased by these undead people, like these assassins, and then this stupid dragon pops out of some shit.
Yeah,
comes out of like this cave, like, and I was like, oh, that's what looks cool.
It looked great.
And then it's this big joke. It's fat.
He's fat.
Big.
So this dragon is so big, he can't fly, he can't do anything.
I was like, how the hell did he get in that cave? Because in order to get out of the cave, he's got to destroy everything. And then it was like just them running from that dude forever.
That entire sequence was so over the top that I almost...
It felt like Star Wars.
I mean, it lost huge points right there.
It felt like Star Wars. Or you know what it felt like?
That middle seg where you're like, fuck,
it felt like in The Hobbit, whichever one where they're in the barrels going down the river. And it just all these fantastical, lucky things happen.
Yeah.
And it just was stupid.
It was a little ridiculous.
And that dragon looked so dumb. And crappy.
That didn't bother me. They even drop his name, and I'll go home and look it up, and that's a character. Like everything they name is an act. I can find its stats, which
that's fine.
Yeah, but for a nerd like me, that's pretty sweet.
All right,
like they're using like real places, the politics, the Wizards of Thay, and what they're doing with Neverwinter, and all this intrigue going on. Like I know about that stuff, and for me, that's like the juice of the whole
damn red wizards. I was like, wow, I'm really into this.
They're cool
because of how they turn.
They're my favorite.
How they make their armies and shit. I was like, wow, that's a really clever plot twist. Like
Saz Tam, the leader of them, is badass in that world.
Oh, I believe
He's the worst. He's like Sauron times.
His underling chick was the villain of the movie.
I know,
and she was terrifying.
She was.
I was like, man, she's gonna eat
force of
my
nature.
soul.
Yeah,
she did some awesome shit too. Like
there's a couple things, like some of the time stop shit.
I like how she died. She gets just murdered.
Yeah,
she's
undead, so I don't know if she's really dead. If she's a lich, then she can come back. That's the problem.
Everyone else came back after they killed him.
Yeah.
She got... so they probably had to fight her...
She's under a pile of rocks, and we forget about her until the next movie.
What?
Yeah, there could be a loophole.
They can't do that to me.
I mean,
she's so horrible, I want her to die.
I liked her. I
liked her as
I'd take her out on a date.
Grody.
That was nasty.
Especially after she went all necro at the end. She gets getting old and gross.
Yeah. But she let down her guard, and then you realize, she's a corpse, basically.
Well, I think we should wrap this up, so it's not too long.
What do you want to rate it?
I feel
go for it.
If I had a few words, I would say, honestly, like blockbuster, entertaining.
Yeah.
Just really fun. It was super
fun.
high
energy, funny movie.
It was fun because everything. I don't know. It was lighthearted, but at the same time, you felt the weight of these fucking red wizard dudes.
What was about to happen if
because they were about to
save the day,
turn 100,000 people into undead.
Yeah,
about to have an army. I was like, I hope that happens and they sail off and have all this money.
Oh yeah, and I was like, and then they could have a whole new movie about that. But no,
I hope it's over.
That wouldn't be Honor Among Thieves, would it?
No, you're right. That's
So,
why they named it that.
yeah.
Honor Among Thieves.
I will say before we do the
I'm not
wrap
sure how
up
long
here,
the battery is, so
that's okay.
yeah.
All the characters I really liked, and they all had arcs, which was really good.
They did. I like
So
Simon.
nobody got left behind.
Simon
It
was
wasn't
literally
just an
my
extra.
favorite guy.
Yeah, he was great.
Because he's like he's a dweeb that has
but
no
he-
confidence.
No, like we've all been there, I think, and like he's
And
relatable that way.
yeah,
So,
by the end- but he was
and then
actually smart. He was super
absolutely,
smart, so-
and he had some tricks up his.
You know who
sleeve.
didn't have an arc is that druid chick.
No, she. Her
wasn't
arc
a very
was
big
kind,
arc.
No, it wasn't. Well, I think it's her in him, or like the love affair is part of the
Oh,
arc.
sure.
That's part of an arc, but then
Got
there's
it.
also her people not trusting Winter,
True.
and then that alliance
The
gets
fact that
made.
she got it
So
figured
she
out.
was part of that.
Got
So
it.
that is part of her arc.
Okay.
I was extending it. Her
Oh,
arc.
that's fine.
But anyway, so
You can-
I know we
whatever
can
you
talk and talk about this, but go ahead and your final
that's it.
final remarks. Okay, so what would you rate it?
Well, definitely, I recommend everyone go see it, except don't bring small children because
Yeah.
of how graphic it is.
Yeah,
Worms coming out.
surprisingly,
There's a bunch of
There's some
they dig
squirmish
up
parts.
like what 20 corpses to ask them
it's
questions,
so
and they're all
funny.
just rotten.
That is
and
such
their
a
eyes are
gross,
falling out of their faces
fun-
and shit.
Yeah,
PG-13 has really changed over the years.
You said it.
For real. I don't know. If I had to give this, so midway through the movie, I was like, this went from a 7 to a 5.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I was like, this, like, once that dragon shit started happening, I was like, oh, no, it's going to be one of those movies. Because I was
Yeah.
like, it was about halfway through, and I was like, oh, it's going to start curving that way for the rest of the movie. It didn't.
No, it course
bounced-
corrected
It
quite
bounced back,
quickly.
and
Yeah,
it was
good.
the rest of it was like fantastic.
Yeah.
very clever stuff with this. It was like Portal, the video game.
Yeah.
this guy had a portal gun, and they were
You
doing
could
all this
jump from here,
hijinks
they
with
could
it. And
do
shit.
a bunch of tricky
But
things.
I think
and,
this guy wants to come get
Yeah.
snow
Okay.
here.
Well, anyway, so what
I
on the
would say-
scale of 1 to 10?
I would say an 8 or a 9.
Yeah. I was gonna shoot a little lower, but after this, so I'm gonna
8.
give it.
I'll say 8.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Solid
If
8.
you are a fan of Dungeons and Dragons, you have to go see this.
If you just want to have
absolutely
fun
do.
and
Yeah.
get out of the house and just enjoy yourself, it's
Yeah.
very enjoyable.
Oh, it's
a really good
It's got a
movie.
little bit of something for everybody, and
I feel that way.
You have to be
yeah.
weird
There's
to not
like,
like it.
I was
like-
getting pretty sad about Chris Pine's. You know what's sad? Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know anyone's names. It was Simon, and that's it. That's the only one I remember.
yeah,
It was like Edwin. 'cause
I'm
they had-
kind of with you on that, and like
Edward.
they're not-
It wasn't. It was Edwin or something,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway,
So all right, so I'm gonna give it an 8. If you want to go have some fun,
good.
this is exactly what you're probably
I was
gonna want.
I was
so-
like getting that when it shows like
oh the
raising the daughter and shit. There's
Yeah,
a bunch
I
of
know, I
vaccines
know. I
and
was
the
starting to, like,
music. I was like,
like how the hell can they be this funny
my
and
throat.
also this
Yeah.
touching and heartwarming?
okay,
So-
yeah,
we're gonna get
we're gonna get hit
plowed
by a
over.
plow.
You'll see this guy in the background right there. He's
Oh.
hugely.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
he's
wrecking
very
some
into
shit.
getting
So
snow.
anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and go see the movie. Absolutely, you gotta go see it. It's an 8 for sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
See ya.
Thank you.